Over the last year, we saw two Cuomos go down for largely but not wholly unrelated scandals. So of course, Andrew Cuomo faced multiple allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, as well as scandals over, sort of minimizing the number of deaths that were coming from places like nursing homes, those sorts of things. And then Chris Cuomo had his problems as well. And all of this we've covered in depth. They have both receded from public view over the past few months. That said, that might not be forever. So we're finding out now that some political operatives who've spoken with this is Andrew Cuomo on this side, or his aides, say they think he's considering a run for attorney general this year against Miss Letitia James, who, by the way, he has dispatched allies of his to complain about her, to attack her, because of course she was involved in the investigation into the allegations against him. So I don't know, David, if that's going to happen, that run. But if it did, that is a very interesting circumstance to be going up against the person who is investigating you. We don't see that very often.
Yeah, a certain level of audacity there, but maybe we shouldn't be surprised, John. I mean, I work for a guy named Eliot Spitzer, the former governor of New York, who was client number 9 because of prostitution, and he had his career rehabilitated sort of because of, hey, CNN gave him a show. And then Current TV did as well. But then he decided, I'm going to run for, I guess it was mayor, and that didn't go so well. So there's something in the water in which people of New York feel like, okay, they get humiliated, they almost perhaps get indicted, and they think, well, if I just lay low for a little while, then I can resurface, restart my media career, restart my political career, and everything's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to work for Andrew Cuomo because I don't think he's got the kind of support across the Democratic Party that he thinks he does. But I'm sure he'll try.
You mean you're referring there to like institutional support?
Yeah, institutional. I mean, there are a lot of Democrats that he infuriated over the last several years. A lot of people that claim that he forgot them. There are a lot of people who feel like he stepped on some toes, that he was an abusive boss, that there are people who went to work for him who didn't have a good experience. I think all those stories are sort of still out there and will hang in the air pretty heavily against him. And so while he may think, I can just sort of waltz into a race for the Attorney General's office, I think there might be some financial people, some strategy people, some operatives who are not so keen to that because they've had friends and relatives who have worked for him who didn't have a very good experience.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna give some of the evidence that might bolster his case a little bit, and then we can see what we think. So let's see. He's spent more than $1 million from his campaign account since leaving office, which wasn't that long ago. He still has $16 million on hand, according to the State Board of Elections, which seems like a good amount of money for a run like that. Nearly $900,000 went to his lawyer, Mrs. Glavin, with additional outlays to his spokesperson's firm and for letters sent to voters, according to board records. So some of that money was spent subsidizing the people who were going out and spreading, like reasons to question his accusers or James herself. And a poll from the Siena College Research Institute back in September found that New York Democrats believe that he should have resigned, 55% to 35%, but Democrats still rated him more favorably than unfavorably in September and October Siena polls, which by the way is not necessarily what we might have expected coming out of a scandal like that, but that also means he is way more accepted by his state's Democrats than like Kyrsten Sinema is, and she hasn't resigned, she's still in office. So if the approval numbers are still looking good, like how do you balance the party maybe having a bunch of issues with him and maybe being worried about having him and his issues be attached to them again, versus he's looking out there at the polls and the money he has, and maybe that is enough for him to think that he can make a run at it?
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that he thinks he can make a run, both between those money, between some of the people who are going to tell him, yeah, go for it. And you know what? He may think, even if I do have some of this baggage, even if he does have the self-awareness to realize that he has alienated a lot of people within the Democratic Party, he may think, so what? Sometimes it's not just Andrew Cuomo versus Andrew Cuomo. There's going to be a real opponent, whether it's James or anybody else. And sometimes you luck out because your opponent does not run a very strong campaign, or because the political winds change, or because circumstances. And the fact of the matter is, there still are people in New York who remember how Andrew Cuomo did at the beginning of the pandemic and made them feel safe, even if he made things worse for people in nursing homes. But so he still gets some credit, and he may think, hell, never mind, the democratic institutions that may be aligned against me or the people who are saying bad things about me. I still have a base of support out there within the Democratic Party. I'm still popular. I have a lot of money. I don't care whether the institutional part of the Democratic Party is against me. I'm still going to run.
Yeah, maybe. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.